I'm still surprised and I'm still not used to it, because sometimes it's just ridiculous, guys. It just doesn't make any sense for me. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Palina. So in today's video we are talking about things that I dislike in Germany. I did already talk about some of these things here and there throughout, many videos about living in Germany, but I never did this dedicated video with a collection of them. So yeah, here is just a collection of things that, let's say, I'm not a fan of in Germany. Don't take this video seriously, don't take it personally if you're German. None of these things are in no way a reason to not move to Germany. Like, I really like it here, there's so many pros, but every country is different and every country has pros and cons, right? So this is just how it is for me, comparing to other experiences of living abroad that I had before moving. All right, let's go. All right, the first thing that I actually wrote down in my list without thinking is the rubbish system in Germany. Well, actually not in Germany, in the town where I live. I think it's really different, and it can actually be different from street to street. But specifically for me, this has been one of the most annoying things. And I already actually made a whole video just about that. That's how annoyed and frustrated I was about the whole thing in the beginning. And yeah, so how do I explain this? Wherever I lived before in the past, I lived in Spain, I lived in Finland. The rubbish system just was not as complicated as what I have here right now. Usually you have the centralized containers. Yes, there are different ones for different types of rubbish. You just can take your rubbish and bring it whenever you have it, right? That's how my experience has been in Europe, at least. Whenever you have the rubbish, you have a place where to bring it. You don't have to wait for anyone to come for it. So in Germany, it's a little bit different, or at least, again, in the place where I live. We live in a small town in Bavaria. Yeah, so point number one. Instead of these big containers that you usually would see on the street, here we have these tiny containers that are like just for your building, or in our case, because we live in a house, it's actually just for us, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you have your own container, you bring your rubbish whenever you want. But the thing is, you don't have all of the containers for all of the rubbish. You have only a few of them. So in our case, we have one for paper, we have one for organic rubbish, and we have one for rests, like the one that's not plastic. Everything else, you don't have a container for, at least not around the corner. The plastic rubbish, which is, the biggest one, that's what we have the most, which is unfortunate, but it's how it is. There is a lot of plastic packaging in German supermarkets. So the plastic one is actually the biggest of all, and we don't have a container for that. So to get rid of that, you have 1 day per month to bring it to a specific dedicated place, which is nothing. It's just a specific place on the street where everyone brings their rubbish. Like, it's literally tons of plastic bags with plastic rubbish on the street, and then a car comes and they pick it up once per month. The rest of the month you collect this rubbish and you have to store it wherever you want. So this is really weird. And before living in a house, we were living for a couple of months in a flat, and there was like a kind of a storage room for all the neighbors, and everyone would just bring their plastic rubbish in there, and it smells, and it's there for 1 freaking month. And that's basically how it is. And this is the part that's the most triggering for me. It's first like walking on the street and seeing the piles of these bags like all the time before the car comes to pick it up. And then the aspect of you having to actually store this stuff in your house for like 3-4 weeks. And then the third aspect of it is actually the bags for this plastic rubbish are special bags. So you cannot use any type of plastic bag for that. It's a specific yellow bag, which you cannot buy in a supermarket. You actually have to get it in a recycling center in the town where you're living. I kid you not, you cannot buy a bag in a supermarket and keep your plastic rubbish there. I mean, actually, I don't know, maybe you can, maybe they will pick it up anyways, but everyone uses the same yellow bag. The same bag is not sold in a supermarket. I would rather pay this €1 or €2 to just buy these bags in a supermarket than having to go to a recycling place to get it for free. It just doesn't make any sense for me. So it's just these things. It's not horrible, and it's again like in no way a reason to not come to Germany or anything like that, but it's just a little bit complicated. I don't know why it has to be this way. Again, I'm sure that in other places it's different. I'm sure that in cities it's different, because if people live in like apartments in Berlin, for sure they don't have the same thing. But yeah, in the place where we live, it's just like this, and it's just not really convenient for people, in my opinion. So the first point is out, and this is the most controversial one, I feel. But anyways, before I move to the next point, guys, I want to share about an online language school called Lingoda. I already shared about Lingoda in a couple of my videos. Moving abroad is freaking hard, and you will see from this list of things that I dislike in Germany how frustrating it is, like when things are different than what you're used to in your home country or wherever you were living before. And one of the things that really helps to adapt in a new country and to feel more comfortable is language. And I want to share about Lingoda because I have been doing classes with this online school, and I've seen the biggest improvement in my German language. I actually did in-person classes in the town where I live, you know, old school. You go to like a normal school, you sit there with other people, and it was okay. Like, it's still good to do it in person sometimes, but in terms of language learning, I just really didn't see any improvements. It was just not enough. It was on Saturday mornings, and like I never wanted to go on Saturday morning when I finally am not working. And so I started to study German with Lingoda. And with this one, I can really feel and see the improvement of my German. So as I said, Lingoda offers online language classes. They have English, business English, German, Spanish and French, and they have only native speakers, which are also located all around the world, so you can book classes like 24/7, and that's really awesome. Save you so much time. I'm just like obsessed with everything that's remote. I'm so into remote working and just like online courses, whatever it is that saves me time, that allows me to do it from whenever I want, just give it to me, right? And sometimes Lingoda does this amazing thing which is called Sprint Challenge. And Sprint Challenge is basically a really intensive 2 months program where you are challenged to do 15 or 30 classes per month. That's a lot, like 30 classes per month. It's almost a class every day. But this is awesome for those who want to learn really quickly. Like this type of learning, this diving deep will just improve your language skills so quickly. But the even more amazing thing is that with this Sprint Challenge, you have a chance to get your money back. So if you join a Sprint Challenge and you do 15 classes per month and you attend all of them, you get 50% of the money back, which is awesome. And if you join a Super Sprint Challenge and you actually attend 30 classes per month for 2 months, you get 100% of your cash back. I think this is just like such an amazing opportunity for those people who have time, who really want to boost their language skills, who are committed, and they also want to like do it for free. It's just crazy. So really don't miss this. And Lingoda is really amazing. I am myself studying with it right now, so I know what I'm talking about. So if you are interested and curious, click the link below for more information. And with my special code Paulina22, you can actually get 20 euros or $25 discount from your Sprint registration. So yeah, I think that's really awesome. Thank you, Lingoda, for collaborating with me on this video. And let's move to the next points. We have still a lot to cover. Another thing that I don't really like in Germany is this obsession with letters. I mean, this topic is quite famous, I think everyone talked about it already, but 9 months later, after I moved, I'm still surprised and I'm still not used to it, because sometimes it's just ridiculous, guys. So if you don't know about it, in Germany everything is done by letters. There is no such thing as online subscriptions, emails, just online communication. Everything is done by letters. I'm of course exaggerating a little bit right now, but it's really true. The amount of letters that we receive every single week that we cannot switch like to email. It's not an option. It's just ridiculous. And just last week, I actually had some questions for my insurance company, which is a state insurance company. It's a great one. They have actually all the service in English. I speak with them in English. They reply in English. They have a website in English as well. Like, it's great for me as an expat who doesn't really speak so well German yet. Generally, I'm very content with this company. So I wrote an email to them, which I did have email communication with them before, like in the past. So I write them an email asking some questions that I just wanted to know about, like courses that they can cover and whatever. And they usually are really quick to reply. Like in the past, it would take 1 day, 2 days tops for them to reply to me. And I don't receive any reply. 4 days later, I'm telling Elm, my partner, it's so weird. I actually didn't get a reply from my insurance company. Next day, I receive a letter from this company. And you know, when you receive a letter, like a paper letter, I thought, wow, this must be something important, like some kind of an official announcement or request for them. It almost like makes me worry a little bit when I get letters from like governmental things, right? And I open the letter and it's a reply to my email. It's literally just a reply to my letter, which they printed, inserted in the envelope and sent it to me by post. Why? And I was like surprised at this time, but also not surprised, because this is the general vibe of how things work in Germany. Like, they just do everything by letters. And I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's just the amount of papers that all the time goes to trash, goes to shelves that you need to sort and see what you can trash and see what you have to save. Just that, but also just general like questioning, like why, you know? But we kind of already got used to it at this point after 9 months of living in Germany. It's just this email reply in a letter. It was something kind of new. But anyways, all right, let's move on. And I'm going to try to make it shorter because I feel like I can talk for half an hour about every of these points. And the next thing is kind of related to the letters, but it's more extended to the general like technologies things. And I really don't understand what's the deal here. Germany is such a developed country, one of the most developed countries in Europe, or if not in the world. But when it comes to like really practical, simple, everyday things, it actually sucks. From the speed of internet, which is really, really low comparing to other places where I lived, like there is actually no fiber in where we live. So we have the old internet technology, which comes like with the telephone landline or something. I'm not good at this, but I just know this from my partner, who said that we get here like 10% of the speed that we had in Spain. Then there is a problem with credit cards and like payments in shops, where many places will actually not accept cards. They will only accept cash. I almost didn't use any cash when I was living in Spain. Like, you can pay with a card anywhere. If it's a 2 euros coffee, like it doesn't matter. You could pay with card everywhere. And in Germany, like I have to be constantly aware of how much cash I'm carrying in my wallet, because it can just happen that I'm in a situation or in a shop or in a restaurant where I will have to pay and they will not have card payments. And then there is a whole thing with actual bank cards. Like, they do not accept credit cards in shops for some reason, which, like, I do not have a credit card. I always had a debit card, but they will see Visa written on it and they will be like, no, we don't accept Visa. What do you mean? Visa is only the most common type of credit card. So in many places, again, they do not accept Visa, any type of Visa. And when you open an account in a German bank account, the card that they give you is not a typical card at all that I'm used to having. Like, the number that it has, the format of the number, is not a normal format. And I actually cannot pay in the internet with my German card. And I had no clue about this. We wanted like a normal, typical bank account. And the normal typical cards that they gave us, I cannot even pay with them in the internet. And this one is actually really annoying. And there is so many things like this. In most places you cannot take appointments online. Like you actually have to call and ask for an appointment if you want one. Or if you want to, I don't know, like subscribe to a course or something like that. Like again, you have to call. You cannot actually do anything online. And there is a lot of things like this that would just be so much more convenient, like for just everyday tasks, for everyday life. For some reason, they are not like very developed here. Again, maybe in big cities, I'm sure in big cities it's different. But in a small town in Bavaria, this is how it is. The next thing that I wrote down is actually like really, you cannot really do anything about it, and it's not something that people have done, but I just wrote it down anyways. And it's the winter months, and I already shared about it quite many times in my channel. I was really struggling in winter, and I come from Russia. I am used to cold winters, like way much colder than it is in Germany. But the problem in Germany is that winters are mostly snowless, and because of that they actually feel much more like dark and depressing and just gray, comparing to like countries that are more in the north, where maybe it's colder but there is snow and it just gives this different vibe. Here in Germany it feels like it's one long season from October, maybe November, to like March. So it's just like this huge period of dark months, which is quite hard to survive, especially if you were living in Spain before, where it's sunny all year long. Like generally I don't mind winter, I don't mind cold that much, like I like the season change and everything, but it's the fact that it's actually without snow here and it's the same temperature. It's like around zero. At least that's how my first winter has been here. Maybe it was like a weird winter or something. Maybe it's gonna be different next year. But again, where we live, it was like constantly around like +2, 0, like for many weeks or months, and no snow at all. Like a couple of times it snowed, but it didn't stay on the ground. So yeah, that period is not my favorite. And the last point is actually like really not a big deal, but it just crossed my mind to write it down in this list as well. And it's the fact that there is no really concept of small stores with food. Just a little store around the corner where you go to get something when you forgot something, like with your normal weekly groceries, right? Something that you always have like somewhere around the corner, somewhere close. There is no such thing here. Like, I don't think there is a single shop like this in the whole town where we live. Of course, there are gas stations where you can go and get something, even if it's a Sunday and you forgot, like you want drink or something. But you know, gas station is not a food store, and it's much more expensive, and there is almost nothing. Again, I'm sure in big cities there are probably these stores, but in small cities, at least not where we live or in the like neighbor towns, I have not seen this like at all. So there is just big supermarkets where you normally have to go by car because they're just not gonna be very close to your house. So yeah, that's just a little thing that it's not even like that I dislike, it's just something that I'm kind of missing. Well, I hope this video was interesting. Again, please don't take this as criticism of the country. These are just small things that I notice, the differences comparing to other places where I used to live. And that is not in any way to say that I don't like living in Germany, that Germany is worse or anything like that. Like, I really love Germany. Like, now it's summer and I'm obsessed. I really like it. Here in summer, the weather is perfect. Summer is the best here. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that I don't want to offend anyone. I hope it was interesting anyways, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.